Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token Channel. Your host Superman in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is the weekend for most of you. What day is it here already? Down under. It is already Saturday, the 25th of February, and of course it's true in Australia, probably in Latin America, like Argentina or somewhere, places like that, Pacific Islands. It is Saturday already, and of course it is 12:30 in the afternoon in good old Kiwi land. And what else? I guess it's still Friday. Still Friday in the US, in the UK, places like that. It's still Friday, so the weekend is coming though, coming pretty closely. Big welcome to everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button, hit the bell on the way in. And of course, we're going to get into the last day of the stock market today. So we're going to cover Friday. We're going to get into crypto, of course. And then we're going to get into Hex and the Federal Reserve. We're going to look at that with the interest rates and the dates. We're going to then wrap into Hedron and ICOSA, looking at Wats's as well. So all that stuff build on top of Hex. And then we're going to get into Pulsechain project updates, including Richard Art. So stay tuned for all that. We're also going to get into the Hex daily stats and a few fun things around Hex as well, and a few new information sites that are out there that have been around. And we're going to talk about that and a couple of funny things as well. So stay tuned for all that. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's get into the chat and see who's in the house there as well. Big welcome to everybody. Yeah, welcome to everybody there. We've got David Gomez was in early. Hit the like button there on the way in. Everybody says David, absolutely. And of course, a big welcome here from Hex Token Channel. Let me know if the audio is right and the picture is video is going through. That'd be great if you could do that. Simple Believers in the house there. Good to see you, Simple Believer. Just a legend. So good to see you in the house there. Very, very cool. We've got Lives Beneath the Truth in the house as well. Hello, how are you today? Very, very good. And of course, got the ultimate strategy there for the Hex Token Channel, and that is Hex, EHEX, PLS, and PLSX for the win, 100% on that. Hex Force 1 is in the house there. Happy weekend, everybody. Woohoo! Good to see Hex Force 1. And we've got Magnus in there too, Superman, Brandon. I like that, Magnus. Good to see you. And Sandy Beach, one of our awesome moderators and community influencers on Twitter, growing hardcore. Hey, Sandy, I think you got a bit of competition. There's another female on Twitter that's rising through the ranks. And I think you two will do well. Both of you are doing fantastic. So looking forward to that and onwards and upwards. Highest Stake says, what's up, man? Hex is going to take off like a pilot, Greg Smith. No more trucking. Woo, says High Hex Stakes Hex there. Very, very cool. It's amazing how easy you can, when you have a lot of H's together, how easy that gets muddled. But I got through that. Hello, Hex Token and everybody from Sandy Beach. Big shout out to you. We've got Van Sam in the house. Hi all, good to see you, Van Sam. Welcome to everybody, by the way. Hope you guys are having a good Friday or Saturday, depending where you are in the world. And of course, let us know in the chat there where you are. Actually, it'd be a lot of fun to find out. We always enjoy that. So let's get into it, folks. Let's get into it. And we're going to find out how we're going here on the stock market, kicking it off. So let's go. All right, so the stock market today. The Dow Jones extends weak losses as rates jump to put squeeze on the tech. I wish they could write a little bit better, but hey, that's just what they've done. That is pretty much it. Obviously, the rates are still shocking the stock market. This is multi-week trauma now, and of course, that's where we've seen the bull run that we had in January get shaved off slowly and surely as well. So we're going to get into all that. So let's check out the indices. We got the Dow Jones Industrials is down 1% at 336 points there, 32,816. The S&P 500 down 1% as well, 42 points down to 3,970, and importantly broken that 4,000 mark there on the S&P 500. The Nasdaq with all the tech companies in it is down 1.7%, 195 points down to 11,394. Those are the main stock market indexes there for the United States. We're going to look at the S&P volatility index here, the VIX. That is down up 2.5%. So basically risk off is in play. And that's up 5 points there, or half a point there. And of course, that's up 21.67. So 21.67 is the VIX there. The dollar index is up as well. Obviously, dollar is the reserve currency. And of course, when there's risk off, people fly into the US dollar. That is up 0.6% there, 65 on the points there. And of course, up to 105.19 there is the old dollar index. Coming over to the commodities, We've got Brent oil there is up 1.2% at up $1 basically, $83.20, and West Texas oil per barrel there is up 1.4%, up $1 as well to $76.45. Let's have a look at that over the month. We can see West Texas there is, got down as low as, I can't even see the price here, but it's got down. Let me just change over there. Are we on the right one here? I think we are. It's been down as low as $73. Recently got down to 74. Is now back up there. But at the beginning of the month, it was up at $80, and now it's at 76. So that's come off a bit. That's kind of good for the old inflation there. And Brent oil is even slightly more dramatic. Started off the month up here at $88. Is down at 83 at the moment. So that's kind of cool. Shaved off a bit of inflation there. Looking at gold. Gold is down 0.5%. $8.80 to $1,818, and silver is down again. Silver down again 2.6% there, 56 cents down to $20.74. Man, all those YouTube videos I've been watching with all the bulls on silver, man, oh man, this is not looking great for them. Obviously, it's going to be even worse with the interest rates expected to be higher for longer. That is means no dollar pivot as much, and so silver's not going to have that rally until much further into the future. The Dow fell to its fourth straight weekly loss Friday. So 4 straight weekly losses on the Dow. So it really started to hit home there. And that's most of February, right? That's pretty much most of February into January. After January was actually quite good, right? January was quite good. As surging treasury yields continued to hammer tech after data showed inflation remains red hot, stoked deeper fears of the Federal Reserve turning more aggressive on rate hikes. So that's pretty much what we're going to look at later on with the Hex chart, actually. We're going to deep dive into that. The big number that came out, and as you know, there's 2 main inflation numbers, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, and the CPE there as well. And of course, we see that the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index came out. This is the one that we really care about. So let's get into it. The Core Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index, or core PCE deflator, the Fed's preferred inflation metric. So just remember that. If you put that in your back pocket, that's what they're really targeting there, with down to that 2%. Remember where did the 2% come from? Funnily enough, it came from the New Zealand Reserve Bank. That's where these international banks use this 2%. There is no 2% in the Fed's mandate. They just set this at 2%, just like everybody else, based off the New Zealand Federal Reserve. I'm trying to think. I think it was back in the 80s or 90s, somewhere in that ballpark. So yeah, that's just where it's come from, funny enough. So who says a small country can't have some influence there? Gained 4.7% year on year in January, topping economic forecast of 4.3% there. So really, the fact is that this inflation metric that the Fed follows, forecast was 4.3%, but it came in at 4.7%. The previous was 4.6%, so not heading in the right direction. Remember, we had about 4 months where the inflation and other metrics were trending in the right direction. Well, that has just ended. So put the brakes on, and that's not great for generally the markets generally. The hot inflation print arrived just as data showed a stronger than expected consumer, strengthening expectations that the Federal Reserve may have to hike by more than previously expected. And of course, here's some commentary. We got, I think the trajectory of Fed rate hikes is going to be probably 25 basis points, maybe 3 more times. And that's where we're at now on this channel. We agree with that. That is three more hikes of 25. We're expecting that. So we're going to talk about that on the Hex chart when we get to it. The Fed policy measuring working, but it takes time. Didn't add it. It can take 1 or 2 years for this tightening to take full effect. Let's hope not. Let's hope it's going to be on the shorter time frame. A bit of hopium there. Now, Treasury yields added to recent gains following the data, with the 10-year Treasury yield inching closer to the 4% mark, sparking a rout in rate-sensitive sectors of the economy, including tech. Now, I just want to come back to this interest rate rises. Obviously, the Biden presidency is in power. These guys are doing hardly anything on the supply. In fact, they're making it worse, the supply side. So the Fed can do interest rates. It tries to blunt demand. But the supply side is where a lot of the inflation often comes from, and not getting enough products out there to the demand that's out there, right? So there's still a lot of wealth sitting on the sidelines, still a lot of employment, still a lot of wages, right? So this is what they're worried about. And so they deal with the supply side, but they've actually caused a lot of the problems on the supply side, starting with the energy. And of course, as you know, if you think about the economy as a car, you've got some fuel, and of course, the making energy high price is the problem. And they did that straight out of the gate with executive orders, straight out of the gate there from the Fed, from the Biden administration. They wreck in the place, and you can go and check it out. If you don't believe me, go and look what they've done. It's disaster, and they continue to do disasters after disaster. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Google, our parent Alphabet, Microsoft, and Apple closed down about 2%. So that is the tech companies. Netflix, meanwhile, continued to add to loss from a day earlier, even as some of the Wall Street believe the streaming giant's recent announcement to cut subscription prices from 20 to 60% in over 30 countries could boost growth. While on the surface there are significant, these are significant price reductions, we believe that impact to total revenue will be relatively limited, given already a low ARPUs across these territories. Now, we all know Highest of Stakes is coming out. If Netflix wants to save its profitability, get Highest of Stakes on your platform, Netflix. There we are. There's a message to Netflix from Hex Token channel. All right, let's jump through all the rest of it. We've got, as the broader market wraps up its biggest weekly loss for the year, some suggest this could be a buying opportunity as leadership of tech stocks is expected to wane. I do think it's a buying opportunity, Dilson said, pointing to areas of the market, including value, small caps, and emerging stocks, market stocks. It's small caps that's gotten to the cheapest valuations we've seen since the financial crisis. It's international, which is outperforming, which no one can believe, and emerging markets. I think that those are areas we're going to see outperform. So obviously, maybe next week, maybe sometime late, maybe in the middle of next week, we could see a greener time, a greener pasture. We've still got a little while to the Fed meetings. So we're going to talk about that when we get to Hex contracts. So that's the stock market and commodities, folks. Let's get it. That's the end of the week too. So let's get into crypto. Now, it did manage to pull down crypto today. You know, we've been a little bit uncorrelated on other days where crypto was just doing its own thing. BTC was back over 25 while the stock market was going down. But definitely today, the stock market, the crypto got influenced, and it was down on the stock market as well, especially after that PCE rate inflation came out. That wasn't great news generally. So remember, we've got quite a few of the same players in BTC. We also have that sentiment, general market sentiment, and that's definitely to come down. Hey, Kiwi Crypto New Zealand, welcome to Pulsechain. Good to see you. Which reminds me of the fact that we've got this poll on at the moment, so definitely smash out the poll. I've got to go. I'm on top chat. Let me go to live chat there. Will the Hex price by Sunday, will it be 5.6 to 6%, the support range, or will it be, let's see how the options have got, 5.5 cents or lower? In other words, we're going down, or 6.1 to 6.5 cents. We're going to go up to that stronger range, which 6.5 was that next target, remember, and then 7.3. Or are we going to go head 6.6 to 7.3? Are we going to be more bullish, head towards that next target of 7.3? Let us know. We're going to get into that poll later on. 33 votes to smash that out, folks. Really, really cool. And a big thank you to Kiwi Crypto for your support as a Pulsechain member. Very cool. So BTC here at the moment, 23,162, down 3%. So definitely going down with the stock market day. So correlation there, pretty high. ETH there at $1,606, down $2.3% there. BNB down as well, 1.86% there at $301. Now, notice this BNB only down 1.86%. That's showing a bit of resilience, right? That burn effect on the BNB playing out pretty well there as well. So interesting to see BNB's behavior these days, especially during the bear market, has held up with that resilience. So very cool. Now, some of the red hot ones, look at this. AVAX is down pretty dramatically. It's down 6.6% to $18.35. DOT's down 6.4 to $6.60. You can see quite a few of them. ICP, Internet one there. VET's down as well. They're all down about 6%, all of these ones. So pretty dramatic. FIL is down 12%. Pretty dramatic there as well. So lots of red ones. Solana down 3.3. XRP is down 2.5. Dodge is down 4%. Litecoin down 3%. So they're all down pretty much there. But look at Matic. Matic on Polygon down 6%. And of course, Matic's had problems with the chain as well, bugs in the chain. So it's been an issue for Matic also. There's $1.26. What else? Oh, look at this. We've got a bit of a difference, folks, today. Risk the risk off. Look at what's happened to USD. Despite the SEC FUD, it is down. It is actually up almost 1% there. Almost back to peg as well, 99.8. It's been days and days since we've seen this. It's been at a big discount to a peg, and it looked nice to see it back at 99.8 there on the old stablecoin. Let's have a quick look into that actually, and have a look at the chart. That's good news. That's good to see that. We can see that it was below peg here. Look at how far did it get down. Got down to 97.183 cents per dollar. So well below peg there. but it's almost back at peg. Isn't that cool to see? That's really neat. It has been moving around quite a bit here. Has been in premium, but just how long has this been down under $1? It's been probably over a week, right? So let's go to the weekly chart. Have a look at this. 93. Yeah, it's been just over a week that it's been down under $1 with that FUD, SEC FUD and stuff like that. And of course, on the back of PUSD and the SEC and Paxos, all that stuff there. So that's been a big issue. Now let's have a look at BUSD. That is up 2% as well, almost back to peg. Also, the market recovering there at 99.6, and of course the market risk off stable coins are more important, right? People want to preserve their risk management and stable coins, and so they purchase them on there. Kind of cool to see. Pretty neat. Now we've got some other stuff here as well. Link is down 6%, $7.45. Sand is also down there 5% on the metaverse, I believe that one is. So that is kind of cool. Let's go to the rankings though. Here we are on nomics.com. We got the global market cap at $1.11 trillion, down almost 2.8%, just over 2.8% there. And of course, remember the all-time bull market top was over 3 trillion. So that gives you some perspective there. Let's have a look at the rankings. You can see they're all down pretty similar. Let's have a look for Hex though. We're going to hunt for Hex. Hex sitting at number 13 on Nomics. And of course here at 6037 cents here, or 603 cents here, and of course down 4.7% on here. Currently the market cap on Nomics is $8.53 billion, that's with the B, and the trading volume overall is 13.43 million. That is where we are there on good old Hex, sitting at number 13. Very, very cool. Positioned quite nicely to attack that top 10. Let it be so. So that's exciting to see. Now we're going to get into Hex, of course, get into that poll and have some fun there. We've got some comments in there going for good there. All right, so here is Hex at the moment. We're at 6.026 cents, so not too bad. We had a bit of pullback as well with the market and got sold off by maybe some of the traders or this or that that's in there. This is the 15-minute chart. You can see we were actually having a nice little rally. Let's go back here on the 15. We're actually having a nice little rally up here. Look at this. This rally here. This was back from yesterday. And of course we rallied all the way up here. It was looking pretty good at 6.416. And then of course we got sold off with the market from the looks of it, down to about 5.8 cents here. But we have managed to bounce back up to 6.1, back down to 5.9, and now we're back at 6 cents here. So some pretty interesting action there on the 15-minute. Let's go to the hourly chart. And I'll always like to zoom in from the 15 minutes. This shows you the nuances going on with the chart. We're on the hourly here. You can see we've kind of bounced off this 5.8 range twice now, haven't we, on the hourly? So that is what I've got as support range on our poll, 5.6 to 6 cents. So it's right in the middle, smack bang in the middle there. And of course, that is where we are at the moment. So this range, the support range here, seems fairly good. So that's on the hourly. Let's jump over to the 4 hourly. This is kind of the traders chart, and let's go all the way back from our bottom here. This is not our physical bottom, just the chart bottom. We're at 1.7 cents. Family channel, everybody. 1.7 cents down the bottom here, and that's what we've looked like. This is our chart at the moment. Isn't it looking pretty good? And of course, we've still got this nice uptrend going. We have cooled off here a bit here, but nice little consolidation at the moment. We are at the bottom of the range, so testing that support. But it still looks pretty good to me on the 4 hourly. Let's have a look at the RSI. RSI has cooled off, so we're down at 46 on the RSI, and that is kind of cool to see if we're going to have a nice little push off higher from here after maybe over the weekend with a bit of stability, because we've got no more stock market to wreck us, no more news around the Fed, and of course we've still got Pulsechain in the narrative there, so it's going to be fun to see at the moment. So we're at 5.996, it's dropped below that 6 cents at the moment. Let's go to the daily chart. Have a look at that. There's the daily chart there, folks. And the RSI is down at 62. So cooled off there below 70. And of course, anything above 70 moves into the overbought territory. So we're still cooling off here at the moment. And that's still looking pretty nice there. Upward trend on the RSI, so I should say. We've also got the EMA 9-day, which is an orange over the long day, 21-day EMA. That's the exponential moving average. And that's still looking very good as well. So kind of cool. That support range still holding up for us, and nice consolidation in there. And given the fact the news that came out and how the crypto market and stock market reacted, Hex is holding up pretty nice there at the moment. Now, obviously, we're going to have a look at liquidity as well. Stay tuned for that. But let's do the summary of the 24 hours. over 24 hours, we have 264 trades in the top pair versus 198. So that's 57% on the trades were buys, but unfortunately only 47% was actually volume. 1.5 million versus 1.7 million in the top trading pair for USDC V3. Over the 6 hours though, that has flipped around, and now we've got 62% buys with 86 trades. And the volume is pleasantly to be, I'm happy to report, is 54% on the last 6 hours. So that's kind of cool, a bit of turn in sentiment there. And the last hour, that is, however, the last hour, that's a little bit on the sell side. That's probably why we just dropped below into this bottom range here. So we've got 11 buys, the sell volume is slightly stronger. Now we are going to end the day in about 8 hours. So this daily candle that we can see here, this red candle, that is going to close in about 8 minutes. So it sets us positioned for a nice little green day into the weekend, right? On for US time, Saturday and Sunday. I think that's going to be quite good. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. So still holding intact is the old Hex chart. Let's go into the broader market now. Let's get rid of all the overlays or add in the overlays and have a look at our bigger perspective here. So let's get into that. Here we are with our perspective. So we've got Pulsechain Testnet V3. I've still got this in. This is still the 6th of March. I've still got that through to the 29th of March. Now, I do believe that's a good chance that we'll get it on the earlier side of this. So remember, this was 2 weeks back here. And so I've still got it at the 6th of March here. So obviously we move it as we get more news. And of course, with last time we heard the Aragon was they were rolling it back and applying the fixes and trying to move past that block that they got stuck at, which was about 16,000 from memory out from finishing. So that's at stage 7, 8. And so presumably we've had a lot of quiet since that last update from Richard, and this is still the time frame for that. So obviously super bullish here with the Ethereum proof of stake testnet. That'd be very exciting. Now we've also got obviously the Shanghai fork expected in March. Remember we've got the what day is it? The 25th. We've got the next testnet update on the 28th, if you recall. They were going to be testing the EIP 4895 on the next testnet, and we covered that the other day. And of course, that's still coming up here they got another testnet after that, so 3 of them. And then they're going to go, if they all go good, they're going to do it on the real Ethereum blockchain and do the upgrade for ETH withdrawals. A big deal for the market. So the market's actually got a nice little pumpamental here, regardless of Fed interest rates. This Shanghai upgrade is a big deal. So let's not forget that this is a pumpamental for crypto on the ETH chain with the ETH withdrawals. Remember, they started staking on ETH on the December 2020. So this is actually really bullish. Those people got a lot of stuff in there. Was it over 16 million ETH? And of course, we're expecting, maybe a little bit of that to come out. This could be actually seen as a bullish sign. One of the theories is obviously if you've got ETH withdrawals, then it just shows you that people can stake and unstake their stuff as validators, and that's a bullish sign. So maybe we'll get more people staking their ETH rather than less. So impact on price of ETH. So I kind of see it as a more bullish thing, big time for the ETH chain. And so forth. So cool. Now, obviously, Richard's talked about this being optional. Shanghai and V3 also license, which expires on the 1st of April, being optional. But I suggest to you, we're getting so late in the piece now, these will probably be bought in. I'd be very surprised. At least maybe V3 can wait for later, because V2 is much better for us in the sense that we get one side of the trading pair that we need. But Shanghai with the ETH withdrawals, well, might make it sense just to fork that version. So we'll see. Obviously, that might delay our timing a little bit there. But once again, it's still optional. We'll wait for Richard to decide on that. So anyway, got the testnet still going through here. That's potentially my earliest date on that one. Now, I have shifted out Pulsechain launch here. Shifted this out to 15th of May through to the 30th of June. So that's shifted out by about a month. So I've still got that. Still in the first half of the year as the earliest time frame. But that's definitely shifted out subject to the testnet as well. So that's kind of where I got that. With the interest rate rises here, this has also helped. So I've actually matched it with the interest rate rises, pushed the Pulsechain testnet out there, not just based on the testnet not coming out yet, but also with the interest rate rises here as well. It'll be a pretty nice timing to pivot that to launch the Pulsechain mainnet with the final interest rate rise. It seems like a logical thing to me. So we've got March there. We've got 25 basis points on March. The 15th of March there. That will take us up to 4.75 to 5% on the federal funds rate. Then expecting the second 25 basis point rise there on 3rd of May, That would take us up to 5.5 to 5.25. That was the December SEP forecast, and that was from the minutes that we heard from the chairman as well, Chairman Powell. That was kind of where we're going to be. That would get us to 5.1. All right, that was the SEP forecast, and that's kind of where we are. But of course, with the PCE data coming out and tight employment market, that third part, that's 56% of the PCE. So it's a big deal. And of course, they've still got wage pressures on there. So that means that we're probably going to have this third one here. So I've got that locked in. That's 325 basis points there. It'll take us up to 5.25 to 5.5 there, giving us probably a midpoint about 5.4%. That's a significant difference from 5.1 to 5.4. And of course, the retail rates we just saw go up several times. The US, I think they're up around 6.5% at the moment. And of course, you can imagine with the basis points going up 75 basis points, then that would probably push retail rates over 7% in the US. And obviously, the more houses and they're paying mortgages, especially variable mortgages, the more that makes more of them fall over. So that's when you really got to start looking closer and closer at the real estate market as well. And it starts to impact the real economy big time, right? Impacts lending, valuations, spending, all that sort of stuff. That's what it's designed to do. So that's kind of where we feel at the moment. And that would put a good par here for Richard to wait for the third interest rate rise there for the terminal rate pivot, as we say. And then I've also pushed out the length of time we're going to be, it's going to be staying up there. So that's our second phase. We get up to this is our first phase, finishing the terminal rate, presumably, subject to inflation data. And then if that does occur, hopefully the real economy does adjust. And there's pain, of course, with that. And more likely we're going to recession at this higher level of interest rates as well. And therefore, the longer we'll stay up. I've got it now, instead of September, October, pivoting to expansionary policy. Is the end of December now, which is where the market was, right? So the market was end of December. Some of the market participants will probably be pushing into Q1 now, 24 for a pivot. So that's kind of where I got that at this stage. All right, so that is the financial markets at the moment, and Pulsechain and Pulsex, the testnet expectation from me based on the data we have. But in terms of Hex price itself in this context, we've still got this long-term blue line here keeping us still in our second indicator of bear market. Look, we've already beaten out some of the previous indicators with higher highs, than we had, from 3.3 and 5 cents. We already beat those out. Our next target is 7.3 cents. We've fallen shy of that so far. We got to 7 cents on a spike there, back here. And of course, at the moment, we've got this, if we're going to zoom in here a little bit here, let me auto log that. If we zoom in onto this price target, if we were to hit it today, we're kind of wanting to hit around about 7.5 cents to start breaking out of this. So maybe 7.6 to start breaking out of Hex's long-term trend with the second signal for that. So obviously we've got higher highs. We've beaten out these two previous highs here that were lower highs. And of course to break this ultimate downtrend here from the top of the bull market that we had 35 cents and 52 cents here. We need to go to about 7.6. Now, obviously, as we move forward in time, that gets easier and easier with the downward slope diagonal. And that's kind of where we are at this stage. So kind of cool. That's where we are. We're getting very close, though. Very bullish. Now, even when we break out of this, if we broke out and went up and then bounced back down, obviously, testnet V3 is going to play a pivotal role in that. And I think it's a big deal. A technology, the first proof of stake of Ethereum. So will it be by the rumor, sell the news? Or will it be the fact that the market goes, hey, nah, this is a big deal, forking the Ethereum proof of stake, and maybe there'll be a bit of a rally out here after that, and then maybe, depending on the time frame, how long the testnet is, then we get a pullback in that. That's probably what I would reasonably expect, a nice little rally and then a pullback, and then, of course, a run-up. If there's signals of the mainnet, then a massive run-up is what I'm expecting there. So that could be the two scenarios that we see. So kind of cool. Let's jump out of there. That is all the latest information around the Fed. We've got the whale bot. Let's have a look at what's been happening with that the last 24 hours. We've had a lot of action on the whale bot for weeks now. It's been absolutely a crazy house for the old Hex here. Who says Hex is not a lot of fun? It is a lot of fun because you see all the players, buyers, sellers, stakers, early end stakers, all sorts of stuff happen. It's just crazy stuff there. Hex God Whale. You know, all the big whales playing. It's funny stuff there. OG Unstakes. It's crazy. 2.7 million Hex sold for 164k, 164,000 8 hours ago. 2.7 million sold for 167 8 hours ago. 7.3 million sold for 436,000 8 hours ago. So there's a lot of that sell down pressure that we saw in the chart. 6.2 million sold for 353. So that's quite a few of those. 2.8 million sold for 164,000 7 hours ago. And we saw that in the chart. That's we've got our big pullback. 4.3 million sold for 250,000 6 hours ago. So there we are, folks. There'll be a few traders in there, no doubt. 3.8 million Hex bought for 224,000 6 hours. So now we've finally got a buyer coming in here. 2.7 million coming in for 162, and we had 2.7 million sold 2 hours ago for 162,000. So that's kind of where we are on the Hex Whalebot. Let's have a look at the liquidity on V3. So this is the same chart that we're looking. This is the top trading pair. Let's have a look at the liquidity for this particular one on Uniswap. And we can see the chart there looking pretty similar as it has been for a while here. Very supportive of a price rise with the liquidity support here. You got all this liquidity on the buy side here. That is sitting at 5.4 is the top of that range there. 51,000 US dollars sitting in these candles here each. So that's pretty nice. There's a 5.2 support. The current price is in the red candle there, and that's currently obviously 598, so just under 6 cents. We've got all these all this Hex being sold here. They're all around about 280, just under 290,000 Hex per candle on these here. And that goes, before we get the dip down, it goes to 6.66 there. So that's not a bad sign. It's a bad sign. But 666 there on the price, so 6.66 cents before we drop down to these smaller 120,000 candles here, or smaller as we go. And this is the way to go there. So to get to 6.5, that is around about here. Around about here. Yeah, around about there. Get to 7.3 target. That is around about here. So that's our 7.3 target. And then of course the next target after that was 8.6, as you guys might recall. That is down here, around here. And then of course 10 cents, you know, is the next logical one, and 10 cents is the way over here. Down there. So bring on Hex God Whale. Let's eat that stuff up. I'm just kidding. All right, so there we are. That is pretty much it on the Uniswap. Let's go to all the liquidity now. We're on lookintohex.com. This is Gerardo's site, one YouTuber that used to be is one of the big YouTubers, but hasn't really streamed much these days. He's got the charts here. So we've got most of the stuff in the USD, 2 trading pairs for USDC, and then we've got 2 major ETH pairs there. And you can see we've got 51 and 28% respectively for that liquidity. But we want to look at the bids and the asks. We've got 12.7 million on the bid side. That's the buyers, and the asks there, 6.8 million. The sellers at $6.8 million. You can see the buyers are still dominating there, 65% versus 34%. Now you guys know we're over 70%. Was it yesterday or the day before? And so that we're still looking strong though, still looking strong here on liquidity. So that is pretty much it on the old Hex. We're going to jump to Hedron. Hedron is at 1942, so it's broken down below 2,000 is the old Hex. It's broken below that. And let's have a look at the 24 hours. We've got 21 buys, so 52% is buys in the trades. But the volume, unfortunately, is sellers dominating. 68% sell volume, 84K over 41 there on the old Hedron on this pair. So Hedron USDC, the second major pair there. So that is it. We've also got a cross happening here with the EMA. The 9-day is crossing below the 21-day. That is not a great sign. But hey, look, it may stop, but that's not a good sign at this stage. We've got the RSI here dropping down to 46. We've got the buyers here is 25. Sellers here down at 17. But the confirmed buyers trend is over on this DMI here. It's down below 25. But they have not yet crossed yet. There's still a little bit of hope here. There's still a little bit of hope on this chart. We'll see how we get over the weekend, but not looking great at the moment. So that's kind of where we are. Where might it get some support? Well, maybe around about 1650. It's currently at 942, and it is looking on the weaker side rather than the strong side. Different compared to Hex at the moment, which is still sitting in a reasonable strong zone there, and with a nice uptrend as well. So a little bit different from that one. Let's go to Icosa. At COSA at the moment, the Hex HSI auctions, at least the liquidation queue, has fallen below 4,000 yesterday. And of course, we got 3,961 Hex HSIs in there that can be pulled into the auction. You need to pull them in though. And in terms of the auction house, we've got 18 at the moment. So let's have a quick look to see what the bigger ones are here that you can go and bid for if you so choose. We've got some decent ones actually. We've got 74,500 Hex here, almost 10 T-shares. We've got 420,000 Hex here, 54 T-shares. Looking pretty good there. It's already got a bid of 4.2 billion Hedron on it. That closes in an hour and a half. I just see this 10 T-shares just got one from the looks of it for 800 million Hedron. What else we got going here? 245,000 Hex, 32 T-shares. It's got a bid currently of 176 million Hedron on it. And what else? We've got 3 T-shares, 5 T-shares, 10 T-shares, and then a couple of single T-shares there as well. So if you want to bid on these, you can use app.ecosa.pro. You need Hedron, of course, to bid on them. And you can find this link in our Discord under useful links under Hedron Icosa, which is one of the 2 projects built on top of Hex. The other one, of course, being Maximus products there. So that is Hedron. Now, I've got Dev Huey. Let's go to Dev Huey. So Dev Huey tells us the Watson numbers. So we got 7 Watson NFTs burned in the last 24 hours. 31 million endpoints. That's another good day of burning, actually, in endpoints. Maybe not in the number of Watson NFTs. So we're at 21,572. And you can see big dollars burned the last couple of days. Look at that. So we had a big burn here, $58,000. Yesterday we had about 24,000, and today over $30,000 worth of burning there with the old Watsons. So pretty decent on the endpoints, but the actual NFTs, there's still tons of them left. We're sitting maybe just under 97% of the supply still remaining. No, people are just not letting them go. As I always say, you guys know it. It's not last man standing in this game. It seems to be the last crowd standing because no one wants to let their Watsons go. Let the people go free. Let the people go free. All right, so that's pretty much it. We're going to get into the pulse chain updates. Before we do that, though, let's catch up with the chat there because I'm way behind. That's all I can say with that one. I am way behind. Let us get into it. I think I got the Van Sam. Hey, hi all from Van Sam. Pretty sure I got the Van Sam there. We've also talked about Magnus. What else have we got here? We got Michael R as well. Hello to all Hexkins. Woo! Hey, good to see you, Michael. Very cool indeed. Actually on the beach today. Nice one, Sandy. Sandy's actually on the beach. I love that. So you live up to your name, Sandy Beach. You live up to your name. Tortoise Johnny in the house as well. Tetra is going to be our go-to tool, so we don't have to be glued to our computer, says Tortoise Johnny. That's from Tortoise Johnny there. Pulse Chain Trainer says, hello from the great state country of Texas. Yeah! Welcome, Pulse Chain Trainer from Texas. Thank you. Key Crypto says, just became a member. Oh, that's so awesome too. I really do appreciate the support there as a Pulsekin. Cool. Now, if you want to join Kiwi Crypto New Zealand as a member, hit the join button. We've got Pulsekins, Hexkins, and the Richard Hart Club. 3 really cool ways of supporting this channel as we promote, the ecosystem every single day. So it's kind of neat. Well, hit the like, says Pulse Chain Trainer. Definitely smash the like there. And of course, get into our poll. We've got 67 votes so far. What will the Hex price be by Sunday? 5.6 to 6 cents of the support range. 5.5 cents or lower. So in other words, break down from the charts, maybe roll over a bit, or move back up to 6.1 to 6.5, or even higher. Head towards that next target of 7.3, 6.6 to 7.3 range. So that's kind of cool getting in there. We're going to look at that a bit later when we get to the Hex daily stats, I guess. We'll get into that poll, see what the numbers are. Nice. All right, we've got Hardy Hexalorian in the house as well. We should all vote for 7 cents to visualize it, and Hex Universe will follow. I like how you took in there, man. That is true. That is true. We do want that. Right, we got Christian Collin in the house there. Good to see you. Ted Nelson also in the chat there. How you doing, Hex Token? Hey, everybody. A big shout out to Ted there. Great to see you. And, of course, Tintop as well. What's up? What's up, Hexkins? Good to see you, Tintop. Who else has jumped in here? Let's go through this. We've got Check My Pulse in the house there. We've got X Tai Sai in the house as well. Are you in space? Because you're a Hex well and already flew to the moon, says Hex Tai Si. Nice. Yeah, I look, I've been in Hex at the beginning. It's a fun place to be, but it's only getting better. It's only getting better in the Hex ecosystem. Pulsechain is coming. There's some of you will remember the AA lobby first day. Imagine that's going to be eclipsed by the Pulsechain launch. It's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be 100x on the first day of the AA lobby. That was super exciting. But when Pulsechain launches, I think it's going to be 100x on your return with the excitement. It's going to be pretty epic. It will be. All right, Magnus says, where is the ginger Gigment? You're talking about Rags to Riches. Yeah, I was a bit of a play on that name. We will be talking about Rags to Riches with Hex, Pulse X, and Pulsechain. That's going to be our topic, but Rags himself is not going to be here. Stake Hex says, let's get Hex Token show. I agree with you on that. Stake Hex says, I'm probably the only Hexagon alive who wants the bear to continue. Still daring and like buying cheap Hex. That's true. DG and Hexagons in house there, Suitman. Good to see you. Detached Soul also dropped in there. Yo. And a big welcome to you. DGN in the house there. Good evening. Hey, good to see you, DGN. Jump past that. Somebody horn blast me, please, says StakeX. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I'm not sure what you're talking about with the horn. I have no horn to be played. I'm hoping it goes lower. I'll be buying this weekend, says Sandy Beach. Sandy Beach, you're very good at crypto, I must say. You got a good portfolio with a good DCA strategy. I'm impressed. Humberto says, cheers from Summer Miami. I'm also on the beach and actually some beautiful weather here in Miami. Nice one, Humberto. Yeah, you're probably, a lot of people in the rest of America are probably jealous because of the sunshine. And you've got the best governor in the country making the place normal rather than psychotic. Unfortunately, we have some psychos running this country now, unfortunately. We're almost going from God Zone, which was famous, New Zealand's famous for being God Zone, to Hell Zone almost with this current leadership. Pulsechain is around the corner and waiting for those of us who have believed. I like that, Humberto. That is true. That is true. Sandy Beach says, thank you, Hex Token. I hope so. I've done my research to make it happen. You have indeed. That is true. Let's give you a call. For that. All right, let's get into it. We're going to get into the Pulsechain Rags to Riches, and we're going to get to that. And of course, we're going to start that with the Pulsechain updates as well. So let's go. All right. So Richard Hart gave us this update around Pulsechain, and of course, this is the last one we had. This was back on the 19th of February. It's currently around the 24th, I guess, American time. So 25th. So what's that? About 6 days ago, and it's already but heading towards 500,000 views, almost getting there. Let's get a refresh on this. Actually, it might be pretty close. Let's see how we're doing there. Actually, I've lost it there. Anyway, so it was doing about 492,000. It was heading up towards 500,000. Now, obviously, Richard Hart is building out a huge ecosystem, and really, it will allow people to go from rags to riches, literally. And of course, when we're talking riches, doesn't necessarily mean millions of dollars, but it just means doing really, really well. And for some people, it will mean that. But it's just going to be a really great ecosystem to build your wealth and live a better life. That's kind of where we're going to be looking at there. Now, obviously, it will be subject to people's choices, individual choices, and the opportunities will definitely be there. The tokenomics are definitely there. The ecosystem's definitely there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, we're waiting for the launch. Obviously, up to that point, still have operational risk up to that point. But once that's done, the Rich has taken the time that they need to get it done right. We obviously talked about Polygon having some issues, bugs, and stuff like that, block rollbacks and things. So you want to get it right so that you're launching. And it's going to be the first proof of stake of Ethereum fork, so it's a big deal. Now, Pulse DeFi ecosystem, Pulsechain is the future of decentralized finance for everybody. This really is going to be a mega theme for Pulsechain. And of course, with Pulsechain comes Pulsex. And of course, Hex is also going to be copied over to Pulsechain as well. And because Pulsechain is Richard Hart's founding chain, that's also likely to do very, very well indeed. So people really are going to have the opportunity with the amazing benefits for Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex to really go from rags to riches. It's going to be a lot of fun. A global ecosystem designed to bring the future of money and investing to people across the globe. Obviously, there's going to be relatively low fees compared to Ethereum, the chain that it's forking. High throughput is, I imagine it's going to ramp up very fast in terms of the turnover on there. Suspect we're going to have hundreds of thousands of transactions moving into millions pretty quickly there. 10,000x potentiality. We're going to talk about that in a second. And 38% APY on Hex there. It's pretty awesome. Launching soon, don't miss it. And I think that's really cool. I love this little image because it's got this little credit card here. Pulsechain.com, Pulsex.com, and Hex.com. Very excited to see that. And we've got a couple of summaries here. Pulse, the smart platform, Pulsechain.com, and Pulsex decentralized exchange, Pulsex.com, and Hex high yield investment yield there as well on Hex.com. So really, really nice little visual to lead us in from rags to riches with these three ecosystem that Richard Hart's launching. So it's going to be really exciting to see that. Now I've got a little video about the potentiality of where these might head to, since our theme really is rags to riches. So let me just cue that up. Let me cue that up here, and let's hear from Richard Hart, the man himself. Some random caller called into Richard during one of his live shows, and I thought this was kind of cool to lead us from rags to riches. Let's hear Richard's view. Way back, this is way back during the sacrifice phases. Just take that context. The video is dated to that point. It's not a recent video. So let's hear from Richard Hart. Let's go.
How much should I invest to get my parents financially free? How am I supposed to answer that, dude? That's a really silly question. I don't know what your parents' needs are. I don't know where you live. I don't know what your monthly overhead is. I don't know what their ages are. I don't know with a crystal ball what the gains will be. Hex did a 10,000x. Everything that I designed is designed with the ability to do a 10,000x. So Pulse Chain can do a 10,000x. Pulse X can do a 10,000x. And Hex can do a millionx. They can. Now, the rate or whether they do or not, that's up to life and chance. But these are well within the realm of possibility. And look, Hex did it. Hex, it took Ethereum 2.5 years to do it. Hex did it in 623 days, which is like a year and a half. Not even 2 years. So how much should I invest to get my parents financially free? How am I supposed to answer that, dude? That's a really silly question. I don't know what your parents' needs are. I don't know where you live. I don't know what your monthly overhead is. I don't know what their ages are. I don't know with a crystal ball what the gains will be. Hex did a 10,000x. Everything that I designed is designed with the ability to do a 10,000x. So Pulse Chain can do a 10,000x. Pulse X can do a 10,000x. And Hex can do a millionx. They can. Now, the rate or whether they do or not, that's up to life and chance. But these are well within the realm of possibility. And look, Hex did it. Hex, it took Ethereum 2.5 years to do it. Hex did it in 623 days, which is like a year and a half. Not even 2 years.
So there we are, folks. You heard from Richard Hart himself from a video some time back during the Pulsechain sacrifice about the potentiality, the possibility of where Hex and Pulsechain and Pulsex can go. Pretty exciting upward numbers there. Obviously, we're going to find out, but it's all set up for that, and it's going to be really, really cool. In any case, getting Pulse, we see that it's come out with that 25% on top fee burn there. And then, of course, we got the Pulsex with the big buy and burn. It's going to be pretty exciting. Something like 24% of the fee is going to be burned. Really is a big deal. If we get $1 billion of trading volume a day, that's about $700,000 a buy and burn. So it's really huge. And obviously, Hex is getting copied over to Pulsechain. You buy Hex on Ethereum at the moment, you get a free copy on Pulsechain for free. That's pretty instant returns. And of course, we could end up seeing quite big liquidity locking those two in together on both chains, having two really flourishing chains. In any case, Pulsechain will become the founder's chain. It will be cheaper on Pulsechain, and of course, adoption for that chain will be much bigger, just given the fee structure there, and people can onboard people really, really quickly. So we'll probably see all the metrics that are in the Hex contract change quite differently with the share rate and other things like that as we go, the APY and stuff like that. So it's going to be fun. But definitely from rags to riches, that's where people will be able to have the opportunity of a lifetime. This is a very rare opportunity, having a chain with the ecosystem launching at the same time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that is pretty much it. Let's get into some of the Pulsechain projects. This is a cool tweet here from Ruby here, Retorico, posted this out about all the devs here at the moment logging in for work. Logging in for work, as I say. This is on GitHub here. And of course, we can see Brett Paulson. We know him well. He was the one that on New Year's Eve, he said that Pulsechain's going to change the world. Richard Hart's going to change the world. was very bullish, and he's also had a tweet there about Pulsechain launching, very soon. Now, obviously, they came into bugs and things like that. They had to, in terms of the block with the Aragon. We've got 3 clients that are up and running. We've got the Geth, the Prism, and the Lighthouse. They're up and running, but of course they want to get Aragon up as well. So Aragon, they're a fork of a Geth, and of course an upgraded sequential client there as an execution client. So we've got 2 execution clients with Aragon being pushed through, and then of course 2 consensus clients. So that's pretty good to have those 4 clients to kick off the testnet and get up and running. And of course, they've all been adjusted for the scaling of numbers because there's obviously trillions of Pulse and Pulsex and things like that, but Pulse in particular. And of course, the fee adjustments they've made as well. So there's a few adjustments there, metadata as well. So it's kind of cool. We're looking forward to that on the testnet. So we can see updates here from Brett Paulson here, SJB, on the 23rd of February. So they're logging in for work there. Now, obviously, these can be simple interactions, but most of the time they're logging in every day. So they must be doing something decent there. We've got 3 Commons Capital as well on the 22nd. Brett Paulson on the 22nd. We've got SJB there on the 22nd, so logging in there. We've got 3 Commons, Brett Paulson, and SJB there logging in on the 21st as well. So you can see every day they're logging in. And here on the 20th, we've got 3 Commons, Brett Paulson, Kyle Barr, so we all know Kyle from Hex, and of course the share right there, a TPC dev there logging in on the 19th, and of course SJB there on the 20th. So they're all logging in for business from the looks of it, and that's exciting. So we can't wait for the testnet to come out, and the team seems to be working pretty hard. So it's kind of cool. That's an indicator there. We also got, in terms of Pulsechain updates, we've got Alex McFurter, obviously the dev for Hedron and Icosa. Alex McFurter there building out the big data center. And now that data center in particular is obviously for his own purposes, but it's also, he said, potentiality to host validators on it as well. And if you haven't seen that little short video I did, or at least posted his video as a short, it shows you him building out his little data factory. It's actually a pretty decent little investment there, and so we're looking forward to it. It's got generators, it's got a whole kit out with that, with the data center he's building, which is pretty cool. All the computers and stuff like that. So definitely check out that short. He's got here update on mini validators. He says Aragon Lighthouse was too CPU intensive for combo and never fully synced. Moved to Prism and Geth. So this was our base, right? So we probably could launch the testnet just with these 2, right? But of course, you want a bit of diversification in your execution and consensus clients. So adding Lighthouse and Aragon, very important. Of course, Aragon, it was the last issue that we had that to deal with, and of course they were applying the fixes the last update we got. So it looks like Alex is also testing these out. The unit I was testing was one large M.2 SSD card. Ended up killing the SSD, which is pretty funny. It's a bit of a waste of tech, but it could be a dud or just hitting it too hard. We'll rebuild, he says, which I thought was pretty funny there from Alex. It's kind of cool. And Motley Investor says, I think most of us are willing to pay a premium for a reliable plug-and-play validator. I don't think you have to try and use the most cost-efficient components. And he goes, there's a balance to be achieved. Most guys doing this for ETH validators are selling machines that draw 10x the necessary power for at least $1,000, more than they need to cost. Something small, quiet, powerful, efficient, reliable is ideal. Just to have to find a balance. Now, as I said to you, there's probably, just like ETH at the moment, you can, if you've got your own computer, which is kind of where Alex is setting up this, maybe offer as a service, but you either can do solo staking. As a validator, you can do staking as a validator yourself with 32 ETH. Obviously, in Pulse, you're going to need 32 million Pulse. You need to do that. But you don't have to be a validator. You can just set up a computer node and support the network that way. But of course, there's going to be staking pools. And of course, we see big ones like that. Like Lido, for example, on Ethereum and things like that. Or we could have staking as a service, like on big centralized exchanges like Kraken and other centralized exchanges. Obviously, Kraken, they're having issues as well. So we'll probably have some ETH locked up there. I think it's, 350,000 to 1.1 million ETH is locked up on the Kraken alone. And of course, they're under pressure from the SEC with the staking as a service, right? Not just the stablecoin issues that we've been seeing, but the SEC is coming after quite a bit of crypto, especially centralized stuff with the custodials, and offering so-called securities, which is debatable in law. So that's kind of where we are this. So yeah, he's got, so that's some updates there from Alex. He also had a second update here The unit using a small M.2 SSD card for Prism and the largest SATA SSD is still going strong. So this looks like he seems to be testing out the software, the computer hardware there, and trying to get the right one for validating as cheap as possible, trying to get that balance right. So it's kind of cool from Alex. I love this guy. So if he's not coding, he's he's not doing stuff like that. It's getting into the hardware. Isn't that cool? So fun guy to follow for sure. It's the old Alex McFerder there of Hedron Icosa fame. So it's kind of neat. What else? I think that was it. We're going to jump out of that. That was the Pulsechain updates, folks. We're going to get into Hex Daily Stats. We got day 118 hot off the press. Before we get into that, though, let's catch up on the chats. You guys know I like not to get too far ahead. We've got a few funny things after the Hex Daily Stats as well, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a bit of fun to go through. Let me get up to some of this. Humberto says Pulsechain is around the corner and wait for those of us who have believed. I definitely agree with that. And I got up to Sandy at the shore. Sandy, you're welcome to sunny Miami. There's an invite there, Sandy. Sandy's only a few states away from sunny Florida, although that's quite a bit of a drive down to good old Miami. I guess you got plenty of planes, so maybe it's a plane flight. Who knows? Crypto capital of the USA. Anytime you want, we would be honored to host you, as well as Hex Token. Nice one there, Humberto. Superman, we would love to host you in sunny Miami in appreciation for everything you do and have done and do for our community. I appreciate that, Humberto. If I'm in the United States, I'll definitely look at that option, that's for sure. RH for the win says lies beneath. Absolutely. We've got Jonathan Kampala. Hey, Jonathan. Good to see you as well. Boom. A boom, chaka laka chaka, boom, boom, boom. I love that. That's so cool. Will and more is Chris A. Definitely looking possible there, and Richard Hart's possibility play. What else we got there? Brennan says, howdy folks, good to see you, Brennan. Good to see you too. And who else has jumped in here since I've been commenting on stuff? Sandy Beach says, I'm hoping to travel more next year. Hey, Sandy Beach, I think you've probably got so many invites, you're probably going to have a world tour next year. Is probably going to be the case. Post Pulsechain launch, that'd be pretty cool. You're very welcome, Sandy. Thank you for being awesome part of the community. Absolutely, Sandy's amazing. Andrew Reynolds in the house there. Happy weekend, everybody. Good to see you, Andrew, as well. Welcome to the chat. And Brazolji says Hex meetup tomorrow in SoCal. So that's from Brazolji. Big shout out to Briz. So there's a meetup there if you want to catch up with Briz, or maybe on Twitter. You can find out more details about that, or now our Discord, and hit the Briz up around the details. Very nice indeed. All right, let's get into the next Hex Daily Chat. Let's do it. Off the press, folks, every day, because this is when I live stream. So that's pretty much it. All right, let's get into it. Day 1,180. Day 1,180. The 24th of February. Can you believe it already? The 2023. We got the price exactly at 6 cents there, almost. I said exactly, but it's got a little 2 at the end. 6 cents, pretty much. All right, we've got the payout per T-share is 6.3 Hex per T-share. From rags to riches, folks, because this T-share is so good. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've started a little campaign on Twitter, and that's just, it's going to be fun to see it play out. I've got an excellent plan for that, and you guys will see it roll out. I've just got to be consistent. That's it. Consistency is always the key, right? So that is kind of cool. I look forward to more tweets from the good old Superman as well. The power per T-share there, 6.3 Hex per T-share, looking pretty good. So it's about 40 cents at the moment, about 40 cents give or take per day for a T-share there. So it's pretty nice. US cents too, US cents. So if you're living outside the US, that might be a lot more. T-share price there, $1,590 US. And the T-share rate jumped 6.2 today to 26,490 Hex per T-share. So that's kind of cool. Now, obviously, if you in Hex, there's a booster, and of course, the longer pays better. You get 20% more shares per year up to 10 years. That's 200% more shares. So you can get this for a third of the price if you go out 10 years. And man, the T-share yield is going to be crazy out that far. Really is cool. The average stake length there, 6.4 years. So Hexkins are going to be around a long time. Yes, I do. I generally define a Hexkin as someone who's staking. That's my definition. I think that's probably a reasonable balance between definitions. 35.57% APY rate yield and emergency in-stake penalties there. 35.57% is the yield. Pretty juicy. That's for historical yield with everybody staking. So they got some people got earlier, much better share rates and things like that, right? Because share rates is going up to the right there. Liquidity in the pool, 74.6 million hexes in the pool there. That's kind of the play there. Now, this is telling us there's $6 million in USDC, 1774 in liquidity pool in terms of ETH. Let's jump to the ownership pool. Now, Hex is really easy to understand. There's a reward pool every day, and it has inflation yield and penalties in it. And then there's an ownership pool with T-shares in it. So when you stake your Hex gets burned, it goes poof, disappears, and in return you get T-shares or B shares of case, depending on how big your amount of Hex that you've staked and how long you've staked it for. So in the ownership pool, you get T-shares. That stands for trillions of shares. So if the reward pool or the ownership pool go up or down each day, then your Hex payout per T-share goes up and down or each day. And basically in Hex, the more T-shares you get, the more Hex you get, the more income you get. Basically, that's pretty much it. So, and we're expecting that to go up and to the right, that Hex per T-share payout over time. All right, so yeah, we got the T-shares here up 6,105 to 10,249,081. That is currently the T-share rate there. Now look forward to I'm doing my first series on Twitter is Hex Fun Facts. And look forward to that because I think that's one of the ones coming up is the old T-shares. I'm not sure if I've done that one yet. I think that's coming up. It's queued in. We're using some advanced AI technology, not ones that's going to take over the world, wipe out people on a battlefield, but the ones that actually help on social media and do good for the world. That's what kind of AI we're using. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's jump away to the percentage of staked coins. So 10.24% of all Hex is staked at the moment. The Hex penalties today really small, really tiny today. But if you look back in the last 10 days, we had some really beauties here. We got 2.1 million yesterday, but this massive 125 million the other day from Hex Gold. Wow, that was epic. Was it about 119 million of that? It was from him or her, if you, depending on who that is. 1.8 million as well back then, and 26 million 10 days ago. So being a Hex staker has been beautiful. Talk about rags to riches, right? In Hex alone, we're not even talking about Pulsechain and Pulsex yet. Hex alone there, and these beautiful penalties coming to stakers. Remember, the incentives are there, the tokenomics is there, the community is there, everything is there. But the rewards really depend on the individuals, right? So how long you stake, how much you stake, because there's longer pays better, bigger pays better. How early you stake, obviously the share rate's going up all the time. And of course, you play the longer game there. So it's kind of different stuff happening there, different price cycles, all that good stuff. So change in currently the wallets on Etherscan up 54. There's 320,926 on the Hex contract on Etherscan, holding liquid there. The staker number, there's our headline number, up 31 today to 119,070, the number of current stakers. One of my fun facts was yesterday was the current staker amount. I think that was possibly my first tweet with the Hex Fun Facts series. So that's kind of cool. We've also got the change in holders, 248 up to 533,721. So that is day 1180, folks, in the Hex. We're in the fourth year in the third month, and we're currently on day 1,181. And our base payout is around about 6.286 Hex per T-share. And that's great to be Hexkin, right? Great to buy and stake Hex. And so I saw someone on social media who's a bit of a Hexkin, and they just said that they just staked some more Hex. And they said it made them feel so good. So I love that. It feels so good. So check out hex.com, folks. Links in the video description. If you have any questions, get into our Discord. It is free, and we've got plenty of people there that will help you if you're new to Hex. Once again, always do your own investment due diligence. Nothing on this channel is investment advice, of course. Get out there and if you like it, then become part of the community. Pretty much that. All right, let's jump away to some of the stakes here. This is the global stakes. This is everybody's stakes for the next 4 months. We can see that we've got these large holders here that do short stakes. So they, the share rate's going up against them. It went up quite dramatically recently, well over 700 Hex per T-share. And of course, they had to have that much more Hex to get the same T-shares. So they're slowly getting diluted from that point of view. But they have optionality. They get the scrape interest, or they get the flexibility just of having that liquid Hex available depending on the price cycles. Then we've got the Hex Godwell here sitting in here, huge. What was that? About 146,000 T-shares or something. I can't remember now. Yeah, something was pretty big, whatever it was. So over 3.5 billion in there in the Hex stake, and this is the second time that we've seen this. And part of this was from Tokeneer, one of the early hourglasses for Hex back in 2020, founded pretty much by, or at least co-founded, if not founded by Trayvon, a big YouTuber in the space. And so, yeah, that is where that's sitting. It's going to be interesting to see. That may have a marginal little impact on the T-share rate, but certainly impacting the APY and the T-share pool. So that's kind of cool. They're probably recovering because they had to pay 10% exit out on the Hex that they got out of the token there, and so they're probably just recovering that Hex they lost. They paid out there, so it's pretty funny. All right, so that is the play there. As you can see, there's not really too many candles moving forward. That being said, they'll all dwarf by the Hex Godwild stake there. This big candle here is 387 million Hex. That's the biggest one in the future. This candle here, so they're definitely getting smaller regardless of the scaling issue here with the Hex Godwild. That is pretty much it on the staking there for globals. Now, I did see some cool stuff here from this. Richard Hart actually tweeted this. This is Benjamin Sierra here on Twitter, and just released a Hexbase.de service. This is a Hex charting service, Hexbase website, which aggregates all the Hex dashboards in one place. Click through the top navigation bar to access the dashboards, currently designed for desktop users. So I'm going to copy this into the chat there. If you want to go add this to one of your Hex charts sites, then definitely do that. Well worth it. So bam, that is it there. And nice. Let's post that in. That is it there. So you can see that link. Big shout out to Ben for doing that. Right, so if you go to that site, this is what you will find. You will find this site here. It'll have transactions here. So it's analyzing blockchain stuff here. It's got supply. You can see the supply of Hex as well. It's kind of neat. From the early January there, so it's the history of Hex. Obviously the big payday there, and the supply of Hex going up to about 646 billion Hex there. Kind of neat little chart though, right? It's kind of cool. It's also got locked Hex as well, which is kind of neat. Circulating and locked Hex there. So it's an aggregation chart. And you can see the locked Hex there as well. It's kind of neat. Now see what the big OA accounts did on the big payday with this big spike. That's what that big spike is there. That it locked up, and we got up to was it just trying to think 98.7%, I think it was, just off the top of my head, was staked. So that's when the big move was had, and then we found out that the OA was benevolent. What a benevolent thing to do. There we are. So that's just the way it goes. All right, we've got start stakes here. Start stakes are there. We've got transactions. There's so much good stuff in here. You can definitely check it out. We're going to go through it on this particular channel now. One thing I did want to go through is, I think it's HexScan. We're going to go to HexScan here. It's also got Staker and Uniswap V2. Now, this is a quite an interesting page, this HexScan. It actually gives you a good quick summary of the emerging end stakes here. Obviously, subject to the price. If the price goes up, people emerging end stakes their stakes. Sometimes these are OGs. These are OGs. I'm a HexScan. I'm a HexScan. I'm going to early end stake because the price pumped from 1.7 to 6 cents. I'm going to early instake my stuff that's been in there for like 1,000 days. I'm going to early instake. Do you know the penalty is huge? It doesn't matter. You can get up to like 98%, and you're still paying a pretty big volume penalty on your old Hex stakes there if you instake those long stakes. Even if it was a big payday in them, they're pretty big. So it's kind of funny to see that. It's best generally if you can. I mean, obviously people have different things going on in their lives, but if you can, it's just best to run the course. Obviously, you know, if the price does something crazy, then I guess this can be justified based on an individual position. But generally, it's best just to capture all that yield if you can, and of course play out the end game because the penalty is pretty fierce. Remember, over 6 months, it's up to 50% of the term that you must serve before you can get, so you don't get penalised on your principal amount. And then after that, it's still pretty high. It's still pretty high. Yeah, so just take that into account there. So anyway, 17 emerging end stakes there in the last, last was 44 days, was 61, it's down 61%. So that's kind of cool. It's less at the moment, so it's kind of neat. We see all these percentages are down actually, which is kind of nice. So you can check all those stuff out there. It's kind of cool. Let's have a look at Staker app there. Let's jump to that. We've got Staker app there, and I guess it's Staker app. Is that Staker app? Staker. It's got Staker anyway. It's got T-shares here. I'm not quite sure. I haven't been through this myself, but you'd have to have a quickly check out what all these definitions are in terms of the data it's showing. It's got the payouts in here. I guess the payouts are looking pretty good as well. So check through all that. And what's the one here? Uniswap V2. See what it's got on here. So you basically combine all the charts here and so on. Some V2 there. What's it got? Monthly price changes, average price charts in here, average price charts for Hex, I guess, and monthly data there too. So average price, standard deviation, monthly swaps. So it's got a lot of data in there. You can check that out and learn more, I guess, is the way to go there. So that's hexbase.de, hexbase.de. All right, so let's jump away to the funny part. Just we're up to what, an hour and 9 minutes. We're doing very well on the live stream today. Let's get into this funny part here because I couldn't resist this. This is Sandy Beach. I said the Hex Queen here is climbing through the ranks up through there. It looks like a female influencer on Twitter. So up and rising. Got 1,200 followers though. So I think that's well below you. I think you're up over 3,000, right? So, but they're doing a pretty cool job posting lots of stuff on Twitter. So I thought it was kind of neat. So if you haven't followed D Queen, check her out there as well. I'll post the link to this influencer that's rising through the ranks. Copy link and let me post that. Bam. Sandy says, yes, I have over 3,100 now. Nice. You're doing so well, Sandy, on there. And there is the link to this up and rising one too. So cool. All right, let us have a look at this funny meme though. We've got all the people lining up here. There's all the people. There's central banks with a whip there. It feels like that when you're dealing with a bank. Doesn't have to be a central bank. Can be a local bank. They're pretty ruthless. We've got people here. They're sitting in queue, and central bank's got the whip. Then we've got central banks here all bowing down to all the people bowing down to the central bank. And then we've suddenly got Richard here Richard Hart standing with the old Hex there, standing tall. He won't be put down. And he's standing in the face of the central banks there. And then we've got all the people still bowing down. And then we've got all the Hexicans in there, all lined up together. And of course, they've got the Hex there. They're also standing up there because Richard's made it possible, giving them the opportunity to go from rags to riches, as it were. Then we've got Hex mass adoption down here. All the plebs, they're no longer bowing anymore. They're all standing strong here. Hex mass adoption, and the Reserve Bank is bowing down. Fix the money, fix the world. I thought that was a pretty funny little meme there. So a nice little art there for that one. That is pretty much it on the old funny inline there. Let's go to the Hex daily. Let's go to the Hex chart and wrap up here with the final comments. Let's pull this in here. There's a Hex chart here on the 15-minute. We're at 5.945 cents. Does this 15-minute chart count as the Hex Token channel pump? Since we started up at around 6 cents or something, or just over 6 cents. So I don't know. Let's see. All right, let's get into the comments. Where did I get up to here before I got carried away? I know it's easy to get carried away. Let me get back up the top here. I'm pretty sure I got up to Briz somewhere. No, further up. KD's jumped in the chat there. I don't think KD was here earlier. Let me go back up here. Got up to Briz SoCal meetup there. Detached Soul says, when I sacked my sacrifice round a 10x at the top of the market, I'm happy with a PLSX at a minimum 10x, but I'm waiting for the $1 million point, says Detached Soul. Nice. Humberto says, guys, although we mostly have not had the honor to meet in person, we have become a family, like a strong family. We need to all stick together and overcome all the obstacles. I like that, Humberto. Katie says, I'm going to the Hex meetup. Let's go, says Katie. That's the SoCal one, right, Katie? I guess because you're in the same area. Probably makes sense. Christian Collins says $1,500 for a t-shirt. Wow. Yeah, well, t-shirts could end up being a lot in the future if once Hex heads towards its back to its all-time high. You're back up at close to $14,000 up the top end there. I thought Rags was going to be on today's stream with the fun now, says Brennan. I know, I fooled you. It was a clickbait. Brennan. No, it was actually more around, I know it was funny. I know the association was obvious, but it's actually about rags to riches with Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsex, because it's going to be like that, right? I'm hoping someone will have a meetup this fall, but you're on the wrong coast, Sandy Beach. They're all over on the west coast. You're on the east coast there, Sandy. So you're going to have to definitely travel, get that travel in play. Humberto says, I propose a meet up this fall. Make suggestions here. Yeah, Humberto's on the right coast, right? He's on the east coast there. That makes sense. A crypto server asked Briz, where is the meetup? So yeah, Briz, let us know where the meetup is. Maybe in Discord as well. But looks like Briz has answered a couple of you. It is their Brizology status is on his Twitter, so definitely follow Briz. Get the details. Let me see here. Jump through the bottom. Humberto says, hopefully we can have a meetup at the RH Museum soon, says Humberto. I'm sure. I think the RH Museum is going to be quite popular in Europe. I'm sure that will become a pretty cool place. Let me jump through some of those comments. A good pizza and beer. That kind of sounds good. I guess it depends on the pizza, but it does sound kind of good there. Nice cold beer. Hit the like button, push the Hex Token show into the stratosphere, says StakeX. I agree with that. You definitely get a magical twinkle for that one. That is true. Muzzers in house says, any meetups in Queensland, Australia? Oi, oi, oi. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. So definitely, I don't know. I guess there is. There's quite a, there is the Australian influencer contingent, and there is a big community in Australia. So I'm sure there'll be something around about that. Get into our Discord, see if whether anyone else is keen for a meetup in Aussie. Ghostbusters says, I wonder if Pulsex and Pulsechain will be on any exchanges like Bitmark, etc. I'm sure they will. I think that quite a few exchanges will end up buying Pulse. So I don't have no surprises about that. That some of them may have already sacrificed as well for the Pulse chain. Wouldn't be too shocked at that either. Christian Collins says soon Pulse chain will launch and banks will be rolling. Says Christian, I agree. We saw Kraken list Hex, of course. That's a positive sign. We saw CoinStash the other day as well. So I mean, it's happening amongst exchanges. Yes, I have over 3,100. Yep, we talked about that because that's awesome. Really enjoying what Sandy's doing there on Twitter. Brizology too is building up his community. Ghostbusters says Hex is on Bitmark, so Pulsex and Pulsechain also might be on there as well. Yep. What else there? Let's jump through the back bottom here. Here we are. So Sandy Beach is replying about Australia meetup. A tweet from Sammy Chica. She's one of the influencers from Australia. Has the info on the Melbourne meetup. So there's a meetup in Melbourne there for Xkins and Pulsekins and Pulse Xikins. Is the Gold Coast far away? Is it by the Great Barrier Reef? Great Barrier Reef's at the top of the Gold Coast, I believe. And maybe Gold Coast is a separate single part, but it's definitely above that area. Let me just have a look at this. Christian says, my dream trip is going to Tokyo. I would love to go to Tokyo as well. I think Japanese culture is very cool. D-Pay says swag unit. Yeah, swag unit in the house. Not enough Hexkins in North Carolina. I'm working on it. I know somebody in North Carolina who's a Hexkin. A well-known one. Maybe in the chat, who knows. Pazzotti says that any exchanges want to buy some Pulse, I will have some for sale at $25 each. I like that, Briz. That's how we roll on this channel. That's how we go from rags to riches with Brizology. What else? StakeX says, I've onboarded over $2 million in 2022. I hope to beat that in 2023. Wow, that's fantastic, StakeX. Well done, man. Well done to you. Coming up to, hey, how did we go from an hour and 10 minutes to an hour and 18 minutes? Just going through the comments. That's crazy. Ghostbusters says, only bad thing is to use the bridge and to get out, which has a risk. True that. There is new technology coming for bridging. I did see a new project that seems like they may have solved the holy grail with that. So I can't remember the name of it. I just got to go back and check that. $25 is a bargain, says Brennan. I like that too. I think that's well worthy of a magic twinkle. Magic twinkle there. GetX says, awesome. I shall try to get there for Easter holidays, says GetX there. I guess that's that meetup for Melbourne, I guess you're talking about. All right, Hex price at the moment, 5.945 at the bottom of our, well, not at the bottom of our support, but definitely down at the bottom of the range lately. Let's get into the 4-hourly chart. It's kind of better for the trader's view. Let's auto log that. That is where we are at the moment, folks. So uptrend is still looking pretty good. Don't you agree? From the bottom, 1.7. What's it down at the bottom? Now we're here, something, Jenny on the block. There we go. And still holding up here, nice little consolidation. Still looking pretty good by my view. Let's see what happens by Sunday. Let's get to our poll and wrap that up. We've got 106 votes. Woohoo! I love it. I love it. Well done, man. That's so cool. Let's see what the people have spoken. And that's what the big thing, you know. I'm always, who cares about influencers, man? It's all about the community. I see some comments about influencers and stuff like that, and I'm just like, oh, that makes me cringe. It's just like, it's all about you guys. It's all about the community, man. That's what counts. Well, you remember people ask, have you been most surprised about Hex and stuff like that? He goes, what did he say? The community. And that, I agree with that. I'm with that 100%. What will the Hex price be by Sunday? 5.6 to 6 cents support range, 34%. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. And of course, 6.6 to 7.3 cents. So that's on the top of our range. It's heading towards our next target of 7.3, which we haven't quite hit. We've got 7 cents. That's 34%. I like that, Cam. I like you guys. I want to get there too. 5.5 cents or lower is 15%. Now, Sandy wants to purchase some more Hex over the weekend. So Sandy's probably in that camp. I bet you are in that camp with 5.5 cents or lower there, Sandy, waiting for some deals, which is, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. And of course, 6.1 to 6.5 cents, 15% is where, and that's probably a reasonable zone too on the upside there. So kind of neat. 106 votes, folks. Thank you very much. Hopefully that's how people get an idea of what people are thinking. It is kind of split up there, but I think that's kind of logical ranges at the moment. I think that's it. What else there? Sandy Beach says Discord Syndicate raid after Hex Token. Ladies show tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, says Sandy Beach. What else there? It's all about the people in the chat, says Brennan. That's true. Wink on that one, Brennan. I like how you're going there. Funk Masters in the house. How are we doing tonight, fellas? We are doing well. And it's Fellesses as well in the chat. Fellesses too. Very cool. All right, the Hex price here at 5945. Let's see how it goes on today. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, all that good stuff. If you want to join as a member, hit the join button. We've got Pulsex, Hexkins, Rich Art Club. Get some cool emojis in the chat and, of course, some special treatment in the Discord. Our Discord is free. We have the best layout, I think, probably out there by a long shot, with all the links to Pulsechain, Pulsex, Hex, and, of course, all the Pulsechain ecosystem projects. We have all that as well. If you love to chat about Richard Art, get in there. If you love chatting about all the Pulsechain projects or anything else, we're pretty liberal with the coverage there in the chat to get involved. It's a lot of fun. All right, what else can I say? I think that's it. Take care, everybody. The weekend is upon us. If you've worked hard during the week, relax, enjoy your family and friends, have a good time, and I will catch you tomorrow. Same time, same bat channel, or in this case, same Superman channel. That's how we roll. All right, let's see it. Bye for now. Peace out.